Hello, this is the RPG Crawler, and welcome to my Tabletop RPG News Roundup, this time for October 26th, 2025, where each week I take a look back at the week in Tabletop RPG news and bring you the highlights. And those of you who watch my computer and console RPG news know that I am trying something new. I'm going to be, instead of reading from a script, I'm going to be reading from the websites and the entries and such as I come upon them. Part of this is due to a suggestion by one of my viewers, one that I'm experimenting with, finding out how people like it. And the other is simply that my main computer is out. It had some damage due to a series of power surges from a pretty intense, if brief, storm the other day, and that blew right through my surge protector and everything. So I'm still working on repairing that. If you like this new format, not necessarily the camera and all that, but the reading from the news articles, let me know in the comments below. We'll start with general news. It looks like Sigil, that 3D virtual tabletop that Wizards of the Coast was putting together for D&D 5.5 or D&D 2024, whatever you want, is closing down. It's been on hold for months and months and months. So yet another virtual tabletop closed down by Wizards of the Coast. There is news about it on D&D Beyond. We will be issuing some sort of credit for the last 6 months for those who had the top subscription. Yeah, the master tier credit. Yeah, they're going to be crediting that. So, that's yet another one down the drain on that part. At a certain point, Wizards of the Coast will either have to get themselves together and come up with a decent virtual tabletop, or just admit that others do it better. Anyway, the D&D Beyond site also has a free adventure, Tenebrous Stone for the Forgotten Realms. It's going to be part of the Adventures in Faerun collection, so I guess it's like a preview of that. So there is that, at least if you're a D&D Beyond user. Looks like a Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay 5th edition is going to be released sometime next year. Cubicle 7 is putting it out, of course. I say of course, but it's been done by a number of publishers through the years. Supposedly it'll be backwards compatible with 4th edition. We shall see. Then it looks like GURPS 4th edition is getting a GURPS 4th edition revised version. Now I like GURPS 4th edition. It's one of those games I've purchased a number of books for and then never actually got to play it much. But it looks like the revised version is coming out many, many years after the original 4th edition version. Although that tracks, because when I bought the 4th edition version, I had remembered playing the 3rd edition revised back in high school, so they don't exactly revise this thing on the drop of a hat. It will not be a major revision. It'll be somewhat akin to the 3rd edition revised publication. Anyway, it looks like Free League is also going to be putting out a Kickstarter sometime next year for Dragonbane Trudvang, which will be based on the Trudvang. What is that? Is that a? I know it's a campaign setting, but isn't it also like a board game? Yeah, it says board game right there. It is inspired by Celtic and Norse worlds. I'll obviously cover the bestiary when it comes out. Onwards Towards Minor and PDF releases. Tendrils of Power is a adventure wherein you seek out a presence lurking beneath a port city. It comes in 5th edition compatible versions as well as Pathfinder 2nd edition versions. Then 100 Acre Hell is available in print on demand and is basically a takeoff of the Winnie the Pooh stuff. I believe this was kickstarted a while back. It's from Legendary Games? Yeah, Legendary Games. It is available in 5th edition, 2024 edition, original 5th edition versions, Level Up Advanced 5th edition versions, Old School Essentials, as well as Shadow of the Demon Lord versions, so you can take your pick from those. Soulforge Requiem is an offering from Kelfasil's Tales. It looks like an adventure set beneath the ruins of an ancient temple, as very many classic ones are. This one dealing with kind of a frost-bitten area, or there's like frost and ghosts kind of mixed together, which is, I guess, why they call it Soulforge. It's got ghosts in it. Echoes is a setting regarding a shattered world. If I remember right, the Kickstarter for this was not that long ago. It is for 5th edition. It is kind of, if I remember, not quite post-apocalyptic fantasy, but sort of similar. But yeah, it's dealing with a shattered world, and they also have an adventure collection called Adventures from the Shattered Setting, of course. World's Largest Dungeon is getting its 5th edition conversion together. It looks like this one's going to be produced in a number of books, because if you remember back, like the original 3rd edition version was just a massive book. So this will cover regions A to D. I'm assuming the other regions will be covered in their own books. It will feature every single monster in the SRD, which is what the original World's Largest Dungeon was. I got to admit, I played and ran a little bit of the original World's Largest Dungeon. I didn't find it spectacularly interesting, and a lot of the stuff seemed shoehorned in. But an effort was made, and it was a very large mega dungeon. So if you're looking for something like that, it wasn't bad. It was just, you could kind of tell they set their sights on a particular set of qualifiers. I'm going to make a dungeon with every single representation of every single creature in the dungeon in the monster manual, and this is probably going to be doing something very similar. Of course, it's based on the same dungeon. 5th edition Treasure in the Badlands is available in print on demand, and it is a campaign for characters of levels 1 to 18, taking place in a Wild West, with apparently some fantasy kind of magic contamination and such. Pam's Motel is a zombie horror survival one-shot. Of course, it's what it says on the tin. It's set in a hotel. It's just a quick dealing with I guess a ghost or some sort of monstrous creature in a hotel, and that's just a Halloween kind of thing. And The Darkness Comes is from Sevenson Tavern, and they put out some bestiaries for 5th edition based on various cultures. This time it's focused on eldritch beings and cosmic horror. A Tome of Wild Magic items for 5th edition is exactly what it says on the tin. It is available in print on demand and collects a number of unique items with unpredictable results. Looks like there's 100 of them in 3 distinct chapters. Tattoo Arcanima is another one available in print on demand, and it just deals with magical tattoos for 5th edition. Does it have, it looks like 200 magical tattoos, with some of them for everybody, some of them focused for particular ancestors, some for particular classes, and so forth. I like how they have illustrations, although that kind of limits what you want them to look like. Anyway, Book of Heroic Actions is available in print on demand and is just basically a hero point and action point system for 5th edition. Lantern of Withered Souls is available in print on demand, of course, and it is a Shadow Dark RPG folk horror adventure wherein you have horror mechanics. Nice. I'm pausing to read this one. Beneath a ruined church, the Lantern of Withered Souls burns with a cold, unending flame. Looks like a nice little dungeon crawl with horror themes. I still haven't played Shadow Dark RPG. I have not actually looked through much of it. I've looked through enough to know that it's a system that I am interested in, but is fundamentally incompatible with the way I run things online, because there's a lot of real-time stuff in some instances of it. So I haven't really explored it the way I should. I probably should break down and just read through it. Isle of the Amazon for Dungeon Crawl Classics RPG is, of course, a DCC RPG compatible adventure. This one dealing with the home of the Amazons on LNCL Island. It offers new playable classes. The Artifact Adventure Bundle from Christopher Wilson. That's from the Brownhaven campaign setting, right? Designed for old school essentials, advanced fantasy, and indeed it is ways to obtain the artifacts from the Brownhaven First Edition campaign. Yeah, okay, nice. The Zeppelin Job is an adventure for gangbusters, which is a mafia-style themed, 30s era style themed OSR-based game. This one is a noir thriller where a snitch is headed for Chicago, and I guess you have to deal with him before he testifies before a grand jury. So there's that. Stormspire Faces the Goddess is a campaign, or part of a campaign, for the Daggerheart system. It's the second module in the Stormspire series. It deals with a gothic fantasy setting, and gives you all this interesting stuff. A nice little story arc there. Not a big fan of Daggerheart, but I know a couple people are, so there's that. More people are fans of Daggerheart than some other systems I covered here, so can't really say much. Can't really say anything about it. RuneQuest: The Hunt for the Stormcalf from Chaosium is a standalone scenario for RuneQuest. Exactly what it says on the tin, geared for newer players. It looks like it's got pre-generated characters, maps, and so forth. You can play it with the RuneQuest starter set. RuneQuest is I can't say I've never read RuneQuest because I read RuneQuest back when I was in high school, so a very long time ago, but I can't remember anything about that system. Harnmaster, Columbia Games has a couple of keeps for Harnmaster. There is Hebben Keep. Each one of these details a particular little settlement. Harnmaster are notoriously expensive for the content. Anyway, this one deals with the settlement of Hebon. And then there is the Arketh Keep, which is apparently the base of power for the Companions of the Roving Doom. A fighting order, rather. There you go. Harrow, the Blighted Plane Core book, is available for the Cypher system. It's in print on demand. It is a Crystal Punk style setting where you have narrative-focused rules with a fleshed-out world with sand ships. Neat. A lot of focus on those sand ships there. Werewolf the Apocalypse, 5th edition RPG. The Moonlit Path sourcebook covers the covers the Umbra-focused group of werewolves, including new gifts, new rights, talismans, some sample septs, some new threats, and various locations. Then we got the Powers That Be, Trust No One, for the Paranoia system. It is a scenario is a supplement, not just a scenario, which details various service groups, in fact, apparently all of them, as well as various secret societies, including the return of the Illuminati. So it's a fleshed out expansion for Paranoia. Starship Graveyard is a scenario for sci-fi systems, specifically the Cepheus system, as well as FTL Nomad has a version for both of them. So basically, Traveler Drive system. It is the 4th adventure set in the Sand subsector, starting with a poker game and an ID card as a debt marker. So yeah, okay, that's interesting. Yes, as I said, FTL Nomad, which I was sent another review copy of. But I'm trying to figure out... I've done a review for FTL Nomad before. I'm trying to determine all of the details. I haven't had time to really look through as in-depth as I should. But yeah, this is a revised version of one I've already done a review on. So there may be another review coming up depending on how different it is. As soon as I develop another 12 hours in each day, get all my computers fixed, and actually get back to things. Anyway, Iron Dragoon's core rulebook is a OSR-style game, but dealing with giant battle mechs. So there's that. You kind of customize your mechs and fight them. Finally, there's Warhammer 40,000 Wrath and Glory Sons of Russ supplement, which basically details the specific Space Marines from the world of Fenris. Warhammer 40,000, another one which I have not played. I know like a smattering of the lore, and that's about it. Anyway, we can move on to... And give me a moment, because I will see about switching over to the crowdfunding campaigns. Now remember that contributing to a crowdfunding campaign should be done only at your own risk. Doing so is no guarantee of you receiving a product. Mentioned here is not an endorsement, but is for informational purposes only. Odyssey of the Dragon Lords is getting a remastered edition. This was a Greek-themed setting, if I remember right. For 5th edition. Done by, if I remember, wasn't it... sorry about that. Wasn't it the veterans of BioWare? Yeah, ex-BioWare creative directors. This was originally done for 5th edition several years ago now. Now it's being built for the 2024 edition. So there is that. Shadows of the Ironheart's Rift is an adventure for levels 1 to 4, 5th edition compatible, dealing with a mining town, or a town rather, at the base of the Ironheart Mountain, and where the mine was abandoned due to unnatural presences within. Death Wish will be a 5th edition compatible Halloween collection of a Tier 1 adventure, as well as various new cards for use with the unofficial trading card for organized play for D&D 2024. So They've got the trading cards as well as the adventure itself. Dungeon Bell Halloween Dungeons offers 15 unique mini adventures and other Halloween themed material for 5th edition as well as OSR style systems. It looks like the list includes the Haunted Belfry, Blood Moon Manor, Haunting at Hollow Creek, and so forth. The Streets of Port Noir is a 5th edition solo adventure focusing on investigation. Sounds like almost like a detective kind of thing. Yeah, it's like there's a private investigator of Port Noir. Basically, fantasy detectives work. That's interesting. Grave Digger's Harvest is a dark fantasy mystery adventure for D&D 5th edition. A lot of mystery adventures out this time of year. This one deals with it is inspired by the ritual and harvesting mechanics from the Tome of Intangible Treasures 2, which is another offering, I think, from the same people. Might be something else. Anyway, includes all kinds of interesting details in this one. Furhaven Adventures is a number of quests, classes, and minis and dice and so forth within the actual Kickstarter that deals around various animal folk delving into adventures. It's basically small, cute, furry creatures adventuring. Cute. Okay. P.T. Lamarck's Cryptid Codex will be a bestiary for 5th edition, offering various myths, local urban legends, and so forth, detailed in 5th edition stats. Looks like 60 creatures from every U.S. state, plus more, I'm assuming, because there's 60 of them. Anyway, a tome of evolving magic items for D&D will be a 5th edition compatible set of items that evolve with their wielder, and I've covered so many of these. I think it's a really neat concept. This one has, I guess, three or four stages on each one. They can be adapted to other tabletop RPGs since magic items in 5th edition are kind of loose. I kind of like that. Shops and merchants for... Yeah, you don't need to... That was weird, okay. And after that interruption, Shops and Merchants for 5th edition will be a supplement dealing with various magic items, NPCs, and the shops that you can find them both in, as well as quest hooks involving them. It'll include 15 plus shops, 50 plus magic items, and so forth. Populated Hexes Monthly, Year 4, will be a compilation of the last year in Populated Hexes Monthly, which in itself is an OSR zine where each one details a small area of a certain region, including all the various things you find in that particular hex. Some of them include dungeons, some of them include creatures. They got people, some of them are NPCs, playable creatures. Sometimes they have optional rules and so forth. So it's nice to have these compilations. Savage Hunter will be Monster Hunter-based stuff in a paleopunk setting in Savage Worlds. So you get to band together, defeat creatures, make stuff out of their parts. Raven is a gothic horror RPG, which I think I covered a while back. Not sure how long ago it was, but it's been a while. This one will be a new campaign with new adventure books for that particular thing. It is inspired by Edgar Allan Poe. So if you're wondering why you get stuff like called Lenore, Corvus, etc., that is very Poe-esque. Beacon Island for Savage Worlds is a adventure with a 1990s summer vacation theme and a sci-fi influence, for the Savage World system. And finally, there is Hunting Grounds, a stalker horror tabletop RPG inspired by things like the Clock Tower video game, Halloween, the movie, and so forth, where you're either playing, or I guess you're if you're the player, you play the victims and try and get away, whereas the DM tries to hunt you down with a particular singular creature. All right. And with that, I'm going to wrap it up here. This has been the RPG Crawler with my Tabletop RPG News Roundup for October 26, 2025. Have a happy Halloween, those who go ahead and go for that sort of thing. Let me know in the comments below if you like this format. I'm not talking about like the camera and stuff because I'm still operating off my laptop while I repair my new my old computer, but it may be a new computer at this rate. Once I get that set up and so forth. But if you like this more on the fly, where I just cover things and give you my thoughts on them instead of reading the pre-scripted stuff, let me know in the comments below. And let me know if you prefer where being able to see the web web page for the offering itself, or just the thumbnails like I was doing until I got so busy I couldn't do those reliably. Let me know what you prefer. Until next time, take care and goodbye.
And if you are still watching, I would like to take the opportunity to thank my supporters, the top tiers of which are listed on the screen, without whose support I would not have been able to offer the variety of content that I have on this channel throughout the years. If you're feeling particularly generous and would like to join them, you can support the channel. There are a variety of options to do so. I have a Patreon, a Subscribestar, as well as channel memberships enabled. If you are not in a position to contribute, simply leaving a like, a comment, or sharing my videos are all wonderful ways to help the channel grow without spending a dime, and are all greatly appreciated.